Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 bringing to you some very shocking news from the world of music, and it comes with great sadness that legendary jazz pianist Keith Jarrett is unlikely to ever perform live again after suffering two terrible strokes back in 2018. And I only just found out the news a couple of days ago, and I wanted to address this because I just wanted to let the news sink in for a couple of days due to, learning such shocking news about a true legend, the caliber of Keith Jarrett. And it's a real shame, to be honest, because Keith Jarrett, in my opinion, sure, we've got lots of great piano players, guys like Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock. We had late greats like McCoy Tyner. We've got great current players like William Simcock, Jerry Calderazzo, Bobo Stenson. The list goes on, Dinello Perez. But for me, with all due respect to those piano players, Keith Jarrett to me is the man. He's the king of piano players as far as I'm concerned. And what makes this news even more sad is because I never really got a chance to see Keith Jarrett. I've always wanted to see him live, whether it was with his trio or even solo piano, but now that this news has broke out that he'll never be able to play again live is really sad. But at the same time, Keith Jarrett has nothing to be ashamed of. He's had quite possibly the best career you could ever ask for. I mean, I'm sure there's loads of great piano players who'd love to have the kind of career Keith Jarrett has. He's done it all, and he's worked and collaborated with so many iconic jazz musicians. Obviously, Charles Lloyd, the legendary Miles Davis. He's led his own European quartet with Younger Barak, Pally Danielson and John Christensen, who we recently lost. He also had another band with late greats Charlie Haydn, Dewey Redman and Paul Motion. He's worked with fellow pianists like Herbie Hancock, Chick Corea and McCoy Tyner, and you name it, he's played with them all. And he isn't just a great jazz pianist, he's a fantastic classical pianist. And I've been a big fan of Keith Jarrett's work and his music for over 16 years now. I first heard about Keith Jarrett from a recommendation from my dad, once again. And he gave me a copy of the Cullen concert on CD, and I was just absolutely blown away by that concert. And I haven't heard anyone play like that since Lyle Mays, but obviously Jarrett was out long before Lyle Mays, who we also lost earlier this year. And I became a fan right from the word go, and the first CD for myself I bought of Keith Jarrett was the Keith Jarrett Trio Out of Towners with Jack DeJohnette and the recently deceased Gary Peacock. And such a tremendous album. And fast forward 16 years later, I have virtually all of Keith Jarrett's trio albums, virtually all of his solo piano albums. I've got quite a lot of his classical work on the ECM New series. Very big, dedicated follower of Keith Jarrett, and it saddens me that the caliber of someone as fantastic as Keith Jarrett will no longer be able to play. But as I said already, he's got nothing to be ashamed of. He's an absolute true legend, and he'll go down, in my opinion, as the greatest of all time. There's nobody greater than Keith Jarrett. He's the GOAT of jazz piano, greatest of all time, as far as I'm concerned. What can I really say? I mean, I know he hasn't technically passed away, but it feels like it because it's such shocking news, and the fact that it's been kept so quiet and we've only just learned about it now makes it even more shocking and sad. But it is a real shame that Keith Jarrett's career has to end this way, as I'm sure this is not the way he would have wanted to go out. He's always been known as a guy who wants to do things his own way and do it on his own terms, and to have that taken away from him is truly heartbreaking, as I can only imagine, the stature of someone like Keith Jarrett must feel. But like I've said already, he's got nothing to be ashamed of. In my opinion, he'll go down as one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest ever. And I'm going to wrap this up now, but all I want to say is thank you, Keith Jarrett, for all of the fantastic music you have given us, and you will go down as the greatest that's ever lived. And your music, your legacy, and your place in history is more than secured, and you're definitely on my Mount Rushmore for the greatest of all time. And as far as piano players are concerned, you'll forever be remembered as the greatest that's ever lived. Thank you, Keith Jarrett, and once again, you're the man.